if the whole thing was graded to Dishwiller and that concrete pipe was exposed to that slope, then it runs naturally on top of the ground under Dishwiller down to the intake at Shaler. And then it ties into the big storm system.
But you're saying before that was that way, that there was
well, when it was raining,
two trenches
there was a
down
ditch on each side. You know,
and at some point that was flattened out.
Yeah. And I know that there were city personnel up at that time when they built that. And it probably is insufficient, a 6-inch grading in quite a few acres.
Well, when I was on the console, I was up there with Terry and Greg and Hannah and Bob, and we used the transit, and we got all the heights. And Terry is absolutely right. They're behind greens. It humps up, and it's it's a dam. And if it were flattened out back there to make the water, because it's plenty low to the north from Jim's, it would flow easily down to the north and into that big tile. But it dams up there, which causes water problems in McGinty's because it doesn't get water.
Well, who owns the ground where the dam is?
Green.
Is that a natural dam or is that a constructed dam?
That's the one that they were talking about that didn't put in the tile when everybody else did.
Or he wouldn't let it.
The railroad put it in.
He wouldn't grade it.
When they graded his, the railroad back in the
Where Linda's house is, he wouldn't let us grade that, so that it could flow.
See, and then at that time, it went down this road again until the tree was, had floated to the point where they had a lake.
So we had a homeowner basically out there that stopped the water from flowing, and it was going to the
It was going, there was a drain in between.
It was going to the north the other way, but now the tree roots possibly could have plugged it up. But the dam is still there on this private person's property that's stopping the flow of water.
Yeah, that's that Larry Schlick lived there, and he didn't want his done. And then after 2 years, everybody's looked tonight, said, I think I'll do it, but it should have gone down that much deeper.
Our problem is it won't flow to the north anymore either because that tile's been closed off. So we need to open up that tile.
But it sounds like it's a situation where we've got a number of private properties involved, and it's obviously something that's going to take a little bit of engineering and planning, and it's not a quick fix to address a problem that might happen.
But my fact is, if you get another big rain tonight, there's going to be houses that water.
Yeah, but it's perhaps something that we cannot act on, or there's even a question that we can even act, let alone listen quickly. I think it's something that should be looked into, and hope that we don't get the
Well,
rains.
if it does,
not that I'm insensitive into it, but
like I said before, if it does happen, get one of the city boys down there with a backhoe at the end of the culvert, behind Cooper's, and open it up.
There is a safety there though, Jim. When it's about so high, it runs to the ditch to the west and there's another intake.
We don't have a right-of-way available to that. I mean, unless the property owners were to provide permission, we have no authority to go back there and just dig a hole.
Should maybe at midnight we take our spades and go dig it. Do we know where it is?
But, Adam, just to speed things up here, I think, let's get a couple councilmen to look at this and sit with Terry and Bob and see if we can figure out to come back here, because without having a little more information, we're kind of shooting in the dark here. But as to the, Jim, just like Doc says tonight, to go out, okay, we're dealing with some private property here. You just can't go marching on somebody's place and, hey, we're going to start digging here.
I think the simplest thing to do is take that hump out.
On somebody else's property.
And bait it, clear down.
That could be, but you just can't walk in on somebody else's property.
He said, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. So,
you see what I'm getting at, though? You just, as a city, we just can't, okay, we're going to get some graders back. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to...
This would be a waste, I mean, it's storm sewer flow, so I'll take to the wastewater. I'd be happy to take the wastewater.
Okay.
Okay?